It's the eCommerce Master Plan podcast. Here to help you solve your marketing problems and grow your e-commerce business. Cutting through the hype to bring you inspiration and advice from the e-commerce sector and beyond. Here's your host, Chloe Thomas.
Hello and welcome to our latest podcast. I'm Chloe, I'm the host of the show, and it's awesome to have so many of you out there listening. Thank you. In today's episode, I'm chatting to a highly successful British businesswoman about how she's ignored many of the e-commerce rules in order to very quickly grow her business to a quite fantastic size. We chat about all manner of things, including marketing methods, Facebook ads, the approach to building your website out, listening to the customer. We also spend a bit of time talking about managing a virtual team and, in fact, running an entire business from just your mobile phone. Before we meet her and get on with the episode, though, please do check out the sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by Klaviyo, the most recommended growth marketing platform on the market. Klaviyo helps more than 28,000 e-commerce brands globally to grow their businesses through high-value customer relationships. From a shopper's first impression to each subsequent purchase, Klaviyo understands every interaction, empowering brands to create more personalised marketing moments. When you have a 360-degree view of the customer, the growth possibilities are endless. And the results speak for themselves. Klaviyo customers have made more than £2.8 billion in revenue through Klaviyo in the last year alone. Visit klaviyo.com/masterplan. That's KLAVIYO.com/masterplan. Is Magento 1's impending end of life making you miserable? Does the thought of an e-commerce migration fill you with fear? Leading e-commerce agency Swanky are here to help. Their team of migration experts know everything about replatforming to the boundary-busting e-commerce platform Shopify Plus. Whatever you sell, wherever you are in the world, Swanky are ready to make your journey from Magento to Shopify as smooth and stress-free as possible. Check out Swanky's free must-have migration bundle, complete with downloadable ebook, on-demand webinar, and real-life success stories. Just head to swankyagency.com/Magento to Shopify. That's swankyagency.com/Magento TO Shopify. And now to introduce today's special guest. Brie Read is the CEO of Snag, selling tights to ladies of all sizes around the world. Brie founded the business 2 years ago and is now doing £2 million in sales per month. Hello, Brie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. It's always a little bit stressful this time of year, but I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. Well, congrats on building the business so fast. I'm sure we're going to have loads to talk about in this episode. But before we get into all of that, how did you get started in e-commerce?
So I've, in one way or another, been involved in e-commerce for a long time. I used to work for an education company, and we sold our courses online. And after that, I worked for a delivered diet company, and again, we were online only. And then I ran an agency which specialized in Facebook ads for e-com businesses. So e-com, I've been around for a long, long time now.
Nice. And you tick some interesting e-commerce boxes before starting your own project there too.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think once you've seen it from all angles from a while, you get some kind of crazy ideas about e-commerce, which we've kind of all put into Snag, which makes some people quite upset. You can see how kind of nervous they get around it. Like, we don't do any email, and everybody looks at me really intensely, like, what, no email? And I'm like, no email. And they're like, not even on Black Friday? And I'm like, oh, we don't do any offers on Black Friday. And then they just kind of low-key freak out. So there's a lot of that with Snag.
And were those decisions which were natural based on what you wanted to achieve for the company, or are they things you went kind of, let's see if it'll work if we don't do this?
So it was a mix of them. I mean, partly as we were designing the website and designing our kind of online presence, we decided to start with a one-page website, and we were only going to put other pages on when people asked for them. So we thought, a whole lot of this kind of inherited wisdom around websites comes from, you have to have an About Us page, you have to have all these collections pages, you need to do this, you need to do that. And we were like, we'll just put one page up and we'll just, put our products on it and we'll sell from that page. And when people ask us for more information, then we'll decide what pages we add and how we build the website out from that point. So that's kind of what we've done. So we built the website in 2 hours in the pub. Actually, specifically, my partner built it in 2 hours in the pub while I was having a really difficult phone conversation. And that website actually we used right up until this month. And we started with just one page.
And what platform did you build that one page on?
On Shopify, which is brilliant. We're big Shopify fans here at Snag.
Ah, cool. So it was like we know which platform we're going to use when we end up adding all those extra bits and pieces in, but we're going to start with just that really, really, really simple one page plus checkout.
Exactly, one page plus checkout, and then we'll add what people ask us for, and that's always been our approach. And nobody's ever gone, I'd really love it if you'd send me 3 emails a week in a newsletter format, and really, really push me to buy products that I'm not that interested to buy. So we don't do email.
I love that. I go to so many events and I hear so many people, and I myself am guilty of it too, of talking about being customer first and basing what you do in your business on what the customer wants. But you're the first person I've heard who's taken it right from the very first moment, and everything that you're doing is if the customer asks for it, we do it. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. And it's clearly such a simple way to decide what to do. Sounds quite liberating.
It is very liberating, but you do have to do it on kind of every level. So we consider our brand kind of co-owned between us and the customer. So everything we do, we ask them about first. So we have lots of these kind of epically huge conversations on Facebook and Instagram with people. And as time's gone on, they get a lot longer. The last one we did had over 3,000 comments on it. Which then you have to sit and read all of them and answer them. But, that's worth it. These people have taken time out to give us their opinion and engage with us. So, the very least we can do is answer all of them back. But that's what we do. We ask our customers what they think. We involve them in every decision we make. And that's how we build a business which is right for them as well as right for us. And, if we didn't do it that way, it would feel weird to me. I've work with lots of brands and you end up being very, top down, and you're like, this is my customer. This isn't my customer. This is what we do. This is our way. This isn't our way. And you're like, you know what? Who uses your products every day? Your customer does. They live with them. They have the dwell time with the product. They're sitting there actually living and breathing it. And if you can't involve them in the decisions you make about it, something just seems wrong to me.
I'm just impressed, and I'm kind of like, wow, why do I keep telling people they have to do email marketing? Is what keeps going through my head. But a question for you, Brie, would be: do you think there would ever be a time where you would shift from the qualitative data, where you're asking people for chapter and verse on what they think and dealing with that massive information and the power of that massive information, to switching to something more quantitative? Or for you, is it kind of in the DNA of the brand that we have to go through? It's always going to be worth going through the detail.
I think it's always worth going through the detail. I mean, that said, we do a lot of quantitative stuff as well. We're all data nerds here, and behavior is the surest kind of trigger of actual intent. So, we watch all of our data on the site and all of our data that we get from every angle to understand what our customers' behavior is, as well as what they say. But all of that, both what they say and behavior, you can't ignore. And, data of all its types is fundamental to building anything.
And it strikes me with your kind of history of your work history of having started in the world of online courses, that's led to you to bring a slightly different angle to someone who maybe started off selling a physical product. Because I think in that industry is more focused on the user than the actual e-commerce industry is. I occasionally get to straddle both worlds. Would that be a fair assumption?
I think it is. I think it's also being really aware of what you're actually selling. So, when you're selling an online course, you're not really selling that course. You're selling the skills that brings you and future job opportunities. That's really what people want to buy. if you're selling a weight loss product, you're not selling food, you're selling, what it's going to be like when you lose a stone, and I think that's a very key thing to remember. At Snag, we sell tights, but what we really sell is self-acceptance. And, that's a big part of what we do. And I think having very clear in your mind what you're actually selling versus, what the product is you send out is the way that you can best get your marketing in tune with who your customers are.
Yeah, so true. So true. And something which so many e-commerce businesses fail to do is to talk about the use of the product or what the product gives them rather than it's a shoe or similar things.
Well, I mean, from a psychological perspective, you can't. So my degree's in computer science and psychology, but from a psychological kind of perspective, you can't really imagine yourself using a product until somebody puts that image in your head. So, I see a lot of, ads for, a single product on a white background, and you can't see how that fits into your life. You can't see you as an individual using it. And I think those things are really important to get through to the customer as well. You can't let them do all of that work. You need to show them how your product fits into their lives, show them how it will make their life better.
And I'm guessing, given your history in a Facebook ad agency, that maybe one of the things you've used instead of email to grow the sales has been Facebook ads.
Yep. So we use a lot of Facebook ads, and obviously Facebook and Instagram are the same thing now. So across those platforms, I'm a big fan of thinking about marketing in terms of where you have marketing minutes. So as we kind of go further into this century, we're seeing a big decline in marketing minutes. So in 1990, you would have marketing minutes while people were watching TV. You'd have them during somebody's commute as they were listening to the radio. You'd have them, on the outdoor ads they were seeing. You'd have them in the magazines they were reading, and now nobody reads any magazines. Everybody listens to Spotify without ads. You don't watch TV, you watch Netflix without ads. So you need to be very careful to find those places where you have genuine opportunity to market to people. And it's always best to market to people when they're bored, which is why I find Facebook and Instagram so good, because that's where you go when you're bored. And if you can give someone something better to do, and everybody loves shopping with their time, then they'll do it when they're in those spaces. And I find that's really the best place to be. I'm much less of a fan when you're interrupting something that somebody's put a lot of intent behind, which I think is often why YouTube is a little bit more difficult, because you're going there for a specific reason and you want to watch something, and you're doing that and you don't really want to be distracted or interrupted from what you're doing. So I always think find people when they're bored and market to them then.
And when they're bored and flicking aimlessly through Facebook and Instagram, I would hazard a guess that you're putting in front of them messages about what the tights are bringing them, not about the tights themselves? Or do you do a mixture at different stages of the buying journey?
So for us, it's a mixture. I mean, it's easy with tights because 90% of women can't find tights that fit. So, on one level, it's just going, hey, look, guys, these tights fit. And it doesn't really require that much more around it. But we do change those messages through the journey. But what I find more interesting is we don't use any models on our site or in our ads at all. We only use our actual customers. And for me, putting real women and real people out there on ads is kind of a revolutionary thing. It still stops people in their tracks when they see it. And, it's the right thing to do. I had an email from a lady who was saying she was really glad that her daughter was growing up now, because when she looks at ads, she can see real women and not just supermodels like she grew up with. And she thanked me for that. And I was like, I can't explain how that makes me feel. I'm really glad that kids grow up in a world now where they see all sorts of people represented in ads as well. But it's lovely to kind of play a tiny small part in that.
Is that you get your customers in to do photo shoots, or that you reuse images they've sent you? Or is it a mixture?
So it's a mixture of both. Probably about 60%, 70% of it is stuff they've taken themselves. We did TV recently, and we got our customers to make our TV ads for us. And when I say make our TV ads for us. I mean, they filmed them on their iPhones, they edited them, they made them, they put all the information in, made the whole TV ad. And we thought we'd be lucky to get one that we could put on TV. And actually we got 11. So we put them on TV. And they did really, really, really well. And, you know, our customers were getting stopped in the street going, "Oh my God, is that you from the Snag Tights ad?" And actually, they weren't just starring in it. They'd made that ad, you know, that had gone out on national TV.
Wow. And how do you reward the customers for this? Is it, you know, just almost like an influencer program or a loyalty program? Or because I'm sure there's a lot of people going out there, wow, that must save you a shed load of cash, as well as it being better performing.
So we give the cash to our customers. And, you know, I would rather spend, again, you know, this is my view after spending years in the e-com industry, I'd rather spend the money I was going to take on, you know, a really expensive agency and all sorts of things like that, and give it to our customers and have them use that money to be creative, than do it the other way around. So everything we need done, we always put out to our customers first, be that like a little bit of graphic design or be that a TV ad. So we also think it's important that they get, you know, properly recompensed for it, because they put a huge amount of effort into it, and we're using it instead of something else that we would do. But I would rather that money went to them. So we're supporting that whole community back as well.
What channels do you use to communicate with your community and to enable them to communicate with each other?
So mainly we use Facebook and Instagram. So we've got about 140,000 Facebook followers, and about 75,000 Instagram fans. And we talk to them on those platforms, and we try and make that a mix of kind of direct questions and, I guess, for want of a better word, kind of conversation starters. So, you know, there's times when there's not places to talk about the stuff you want to talk about, and we try and start those conversations for people and let them connect with other people that can help them and share ideas and stuff like that as well.
Do you ever, as a business, I'm guessing is quite reliant on Facebook and Instagram for new sales and repeat sales, do you ever worry about the fact that you don't own that platform as such, which is often the argument people give for using multiple channels?
To some extent, I think, you know, you've always got, for me, it's not really about platforms, it's about people. So going to at that moment to find people at the right kind of stage of boredness. I mean, we recently started doing TikTok, which is going insanely well. We're doing some more YouTube tests and Pinterest stuff. We do a little bit of TV. So it's all about where we can go to find that person. And as they're moving their interest on from Facebook and Instagram, which some people are, where can we find them?
We've often had people on the show who have similarly low price point products as you do. I mean, I think a quick look on the website, it looks like kind of like the £5-6 is around about your average product price. And that can be a really difficult place to start and grow an e-commerce business, because you then have to factor in the delivery, because whether it's a £100 shirt or a £6 pair of tights, the delivery costs are essentially the same. So have you found that the price points are a challenge to growth? Or, well, I'm guessing not, given how fast you've grown over the years. But so I guess actually, let me rephrase it. How about any advice for anyone else in the low price point space of how to manage that effectively?
So again, I mean, it's all about, and you'll find this with me, I rarely listen to what people tell me. So we charge for our postage. We charge what it costs us to send the product out. And for me, that's only fair, because we put our products at the lowest price we can possibly sell them for and make a profit. So, you know, as part of having the price at that level, it means that you need to pay for it to get to you. And, you know, we haven't found that be at all problematic. And we get lots of people that go, you know, oh, the key is that you always need to have free shipping. Free shipping is everything. If you've got free shipping, your e-commerce business will fly. And I'm always like, well, it's not free, is it? Because you've increased the kind of price, you know, at the other end. And I'd rather we were fair with our customers and they could see what really was happening. So they know what, you know, we really get charged for shipping. And if we get a better deal on shipping, we'll put the price down. And, you know, that's what we do. We're completely transparent when it comes to that. That's how much the tights cost. That's how much the shipping costs. We do a lot of work to keep our shipping as low as we possibly can. You know, so they get a better deal. But I'd much rather be honest with people rather than going, your shipping is free, but I've just added it onto the price of the product, which just doesn't seem very fair to me.
And I suspect those listening can get that would conflict with the importance of community and the importance of bringing the customers into the mix. Oh yeah, we're going to listen to you all the time, apart from when it comes to shipping costs, at which point we're going to tell you it's free, but we're going to increase the price of all our products by a couple of quid. It's it wouldn't fit with your brand and your ideology, would it? Now, Brie, we came to be connected when you put up a post on LinkedIn saying about how you run your business, the whole of your business, from a mobile phone, which, as someone who's a little bit addicted to a desktop, to be fair, completely addicted to a desktop, just kind of blew my mind. I mean, I know it's possible, but it still kind of blew my mind. So if you got any advice for those out there who are literally stuck on their desktop for how to go about running a business and doing it in such a fluid and flexible way?
I just think it gives you a lot more freedom. So for me, it's much more important that I'm out there talking to people, or I can attend the meetings that I need to attend. And there's more of my time if I'm not attached to a desktop. And I think, you very quickly get used to the things that you can do on your phone. And with Shopify, the app's absolutely amazing. There's nothing, I can edit a product picture on Shopify on my phone live on the live site, that there's nothing really that I can do outside of that. It also lets me keep on top of my emails, it lets me keep on top of all my Facebook ads as they're running. The facilities there now are so good. It means I can do that in the time, in my spare time, I guess, in a way that you can't do from a desktop. So I can still get out there and I can meet people and I can talk to them. I can, do the things that I need to do. And it just gives me more time to get through everything, I guess.
But you do still have a laptop for special occasions?
I do still have a laptop, but I can go for like a whole week without using it. So which frequently happens. It was actually so out of charge this morning that I had to plug it in and wait 5 minutes for it to actually turn on. But yeah, I do still have one.
And do the rest of your team mobile only as well? Or have you found that you being mobile only has shifted how they use their tech?
I think a lot of them are. I think I'm probably the worst for it in the group, but because we use things like, we're a completely virtual team, so we use WhatsApp as our main communication method. So that's all mobile, and it's easy to do on mobile. I think we all do it to a pretty large extent, but I do probably push the boundaries a little bit.
And you say completely virtual team. Was that something which just evolved, or was that part of your vision from the start? Was, I want the right people and I don't care where they are?
So for me, it's about having the right people, but it's also about, contributing when your energy is highest, and everyone's different from this. So we have these really kind of weird WhatsApp meetings where somebody will start off an idea, and then it might be 4 hours before someone else has thought about it and they have the right energy to, add something more to it. So they'll add something more to it then, and then somebody else might wake up in the middle of the night having thought about it and add a little bit more to it then. And for me, it's all about people being in the right frame of mind to get a really good result from something, where when, you're going, that meeting's going to be at 10 in the morning and you've got somebody who's going, oh no, I don't have food for tea. You've got someone else going, oh no, I need to remember to collect that from the post office. You've got somebody else who's got a sick, guinea pig. I don't know, but nobody's necessarily all on their game at the same time. So I would rather work in this way, where people can contribute when they're completely at their best.
I like it. I'm a big fan of virtual teams myself. So is your team all in the UK, or are they dotted around the world?
All around the world. So we have people in Australia, we have people in America. Up until recently, our CMO was in Barcelona. So, all kind of places across the globe.
There's a big part of the kind of, I guess, the community and the ethos behind Snag Tights, which is around the size acceptance angle of things, which we've kind of, knowing that it exists, it feels a bit absent from our chat this far. So was that a reason for you to get into tights? Not literally. Was it a reason, or did it come about after starting the business, or have they always kind of gone hand in hand?
I think it was really important for me. So I spent, the vast majority of my life absolutely hating myself and hating what I look like and not being able to find clothes that represented me on any level. And, my head was literally just filled with, your life will be better if you lose weight. Oh, you want chocolate, don't eat the chocolate. You're a horrible person, eat the chocolate. You look ugly, eat the chocolate. I can't describe the amount of energy and intensity it took to keep up the level of self-hatred I had. And over time, for me, accepting myself has been such a big change in who I am, and has freed up all of my headspace to think about better things, and to think positively about the world. It was always, for me, important that something like tights opens up a whole new wardrobe for people. We have emails from people that haven't worn a dress for 20 years, who don't feel like, they could wear a skirt, and having the right pair of tights, which means they're comfortable, they're not going to get chub rub, they feel confident in what they're wearing, helps change their self-acceptance. It takes these little steps where you can be a little bit more you, when you see advertising of people that are like you, again, it's okay for you to be you, and you don't have to be different from how you are. And that is just, it's a kind of fundamental tenet, I guess, of what we are as a brand, but also who I am as a person.
E-commerce Master Plan is supported by some of the greatest companies in the e-commerce sector. Here's a reminder of who they are.
How are the leading D2C brands growing their business? They're using Klaviyo, the growth marketing platform chosen by over 28,000 global innovative online brands. Klaviyo believes in supporting growth, which is why they won't tie you into lengthy contracts, hidden setup or support fees, or feature-based pricing. With a platform that is both powerful and easy to use, it's no surprise so many brands have switched to Klaviyo. Looking for one more compelling reason? Brands switching to Klaviyo see an average of 62 times ROI on their investment. Ready to learn more? Visit klaviyo.com/masterplan. That's KLAVIYO.com/masterplan. With support for Magento 1 stores set to expire in June, are you looking for a new home for your e-commerce site? Well, start your digital transformation journey with leading Shopify Plus agency Swanky. Boasting years of migration experience and with countless successful re-platforming projects under their belt, these e-commerce experts know everything there is to know about re-platforming, including all the secrets to a smooth and stress-free transition. Check out Swanky's free must-have migration bundle, complete with downloadable ebook, on-demand webinar, and real-life success stories. Head to swankyagency.com/Magento to Shopify. That's swankyagency.com/Magento TO Shopify.
It's time for the top tips round.
Okay, we're going to go into the top tips. And Brie, I love this section because it gives our listeners some really quick ideas for taking our businesses to the next level. So are you good to go into the top tips round?
Different.
Cool. Okay, the book top tip. If everyone listening to this podcast agreed to take Friday off and read a book to make their business better, which book would you recommend?
So I, again, being weird, don't read any business books, because I think if you have other people's ideas in your head, you can't have your own ideas. So I'm going to say Dune by Frank Herbert, which is an awesome science fiction book. And it also teaches you a huge amount about challenge and leadership and understanding, what the universe is around you and shaping it to what you need it to be and shaping the way you think. So that's the one I'd recommend.
Excellent. I like it. A bit of escapism on a Friday. Okay, the traffic top tip. Which marketing method do you either prize above all others or think doesn't get the press it deserves?
So email, I definitely don't think gets the press it deserves. But I would say, really, really kind of simple stuff on Facebook still works well. You know who your audience are, target them well, think about relevancy, create really good ads that people want to respond to. And it's simple, but still ridiculously effective.
And the tool top tip, maybe a collaboration tool, a social media plugin, a phone app, or just a way of working. Is there a cool little tool you use that makes you and your team more efficient from day to day?
So we do all our graphic design on Over, which is an iPhone app, which is incredible. You can have all of the power of Photoshop in, a tiny little app, which is super simple to use and, creates just beautiful results. So we all use it at Snag, and I would highly recommend it to everyone.
Excellent. I'm sure that's one which people, as they're listening, are downloading as we speak, because anything that makes graphic design easier is...
I know, right? It's so complicated. And now you've got this great little app that does it all for you. It's brilliant.
Yeah, the hours I've spent looking at Photoshop and Photoshop equivalents going, I just want to do that, but I don't know what they call it.
Yeah. And all the masking and the layers and I don't know. But yeah, Over makes it all simple.
Yeah. Great recommendation. Okay, the last top tip is the growth top tip. If you met someone today who's focused on growing their e-commerce business from 100 orders per month to 1,000, what would be your number one tip for them?
So I think the first thing I do is make sure that you have the space to grow your product in. And I think a lot of people try and grow a product with an audience that's too small to grow that product with. So I'd identify your audience. I'd look at how big that audience is. If it's not big enough, I'd find a way to make your product appeal to more people. So I think a lot of the time people aren't aware of the population size you need to be able to sustain the demand of a product. So I would definitely say start there.
That's such a cool way of looking at it. I think you've certainly shifted my head a little bit today, Brie, and I suspect there's a lot of the audience members who will now be staring off at corners of the room wondering, ooh, how should I actually be thinking about this? So very cool to have all that advice from you today. Before we say goodbye, would you like to let the listeners know where they can find you and your business on the web and social media, please?
So we're snagtights.com, snagtights on Instagram and Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram at Brie from Snag.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks so much for being on the podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. And to, as you can tell, my brain is currently going, I should think about these things differently. So thank you, Brie. Really appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Some really interesting angles on the world of e-commerce there from Brie. And it's interesting to see how her focus is so committed, both from the standpoint of the body acceptance sitting at the heart of everything, of the angle of only building what the customer wants. It's kind of like taking minimum viable product to the nth degree, launching with just that one single page of the website and only building out what the customer wants. I thought the point of view on, keep testing with your marketing to find out what's going to work and what's going to deliver for you. They're busy testing TikTok and they're testing TV ads, lots of really insightful stuff. And I quite like the idea of, just ignoring what everyone else says and just following the numbers, following the data and doing what works for you. Because at the end of the day, you can take as much inspiration, as many ideas from my podcasts as you like, but you have to test it in your own business before you know it's going to work. If you're listening via Apple Podcasts, Spotify or iTunes, please do give us some feedback via the review apps, because I love to hear what you're thinking. And your reviews do help us out just a little bit in their algorithms. If you want to get your hands on the notes from today's show, including the top tips, links, details of related episodes and more, then head over to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, where you'll find lots of information about this show, plus a link to this particular episode and all those resources. I hope you have a great week. Keep optimizing.
Thank you for listening to the eCommerce Master Plan podcast. Find out more at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast.